In the August developer livestream from Visionary Realms, developers of the upcoming MMORPG Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, they detailed some of the changes that the Shaman class will be getting for the next scheduled pre-alpha testing session in September. In Pantheon, the Shaman class is planned to be a healer, specializing in heals over time, that uses mana and a class-specific combat resource called Vision to perform its role. The Shaman has been demonstrated pretty thoroughly in past developer videos like this one, as well as in live gameplay streams with streamer and now investor CoCarnage. It was also put through its paces last year when myself and others were given an opportunity to take the classes for a spin in Fortress Devair. So what's new with the Shaman in 2022? Let's find out. Adam Tehom Mostel, production manager, highlighted 5 new skills added to the Shaman arsenal. Adam gave an overview of each one, but we can dig a little deeper into them here. Wind Ward is a new buff that the Shaman casts on an ally, which absorbs a number of physical attacks. It absorbs more attacks the higher the Shaman's conjuration skill, which means the duration will be increased at the same time. One of the goals of this iteration of the Shaman was to give their heals over time more, time to do what they do. So if it takes an enemy longer to break through Wind Ward, that's time for the Shaman medicine to work its magic. Second Sight works off the augmentation skill with a fairly quick cooldown of 10 seconds. It's basically just a cure blindness spell, which would likely have limited usefulness and might struggle to find a spot on the limited action bar for most shamans. However, it has a secondary property that might just offset that narrow scope. If the ally isn't blinded, Second Sight causes them to dodge the next source of incoming physical damage for 5 seconds, but this effect can only happen once every minute and a half. So when that big hit is on the way, Second Sight might be the panic button a shaman can press to save an ally. Just use it sparingly. Again, this goes back to one of the goals of this iteration that Tehom spoke of, that being consolidating redundancies on the shaman's hotbar to make room for their other tools. Second Sight does this by packaging a debuff removal with a damage mitigation into one convenient spell. Amaurosis, easily the coolest sounding spell of all the new ones, is a blind spell that reduces the target's accuracy by 20% for up to a minute and a half. This one again scales with the shaman's conjuration skill, appearing to increase the reduction. The time of the debuff says up to a minute and 30 seconds, so it isn't clear what affects the duration of this spell or if it's just on a random timer. This is somewhat likely in fact, as Tehom noted that they wanted to get away from the shaman having to micromanage timers when it comes to their buffs and their debuffs. Now, Windstrider isn't actually a new spell. Looking at the class page, you can see it there, but what VR added is really interesting. Whereas Windstrider used to just be an overall speed buff, this new version only affects sprinting speed, which they demonstrated in the June developer update. So now, when sprinting, you'll move 30% faster and it will cost half as much endurance for the next 36 minutes. It also works off the shaman's augmentation skill. 1/3 faster for twice as long? Heck yeah. Anyone got a WS for the poor ranger? My personal favorite of the new spells they showed is Memory of Flame. Beyond the cool imagery of making a mob remember dying in a fire in a past life, this spell takes direct aim at class interdependency in Pantheon, something I'm all in on. What it does is lower an enemy's fire resistance by 10% of the fire damage dealt for a minute. That last part there is really key to this, as you could say it's just a minor fire resist debuff without it, but what it actually means, at least as it reads to me, is that the bigger the fire spell that triggers this effect, the more the resistance is reduced. So I cast Memory of Flame on the mob, and my wizard friend nails them with a big nuke next. The mob will basically be immensely vulnerable to any future further fire damage. This one will take coordination and timing to maximize its effect, and that's something most MMOs no longer ask of players, but Pantheon's different. What do you think of these new skills, or the change to Windstrider? If you've played a Shaman type class in other MMOs, how do these compare? Let me know in the comments. If you plan on playing a Shaman in the next Pantheon pre-alpha test in September, you've got some new toys to play with. The feedback from testers on these new abilities will be key in helping VR dial in these classes as they continue on the road to alpha. Stay tuned for more class update and analysis videos from us here at Pantheon Plus. And the easiest way to do that is to subscribe and get notified when they get done. Until then, cheers, and thanks for watching.